Hey, that's a soda pop from Soda Hughes, and you are watching the Malak channel, and today we're going to take a look at my first Junji Ito book. This one is Remina. I really like the cover design, just kind of that red to kind of gray-blue gradient. I think it's cool, and now that I've read the book, I feel like it definitely fits it well, and it's got these nice kind of end pages and stuff to kind of bring you into the story. This was my first Junji Ito. I've always been interested in Junji Ito, and I've wanted to start to get into it. There's like a pixel art game that's super awesome called World of Horror, and I love the aesthetic and just kind of the spooky vibe of it. And there's artists I love that seem to be inspired by Junji Ito, like Mako Weiss and other creators. So I really wanted to eventually be able to look at one, and I found this one at the library, so I thought I'd give it a look-see. The premise, so I won't give any spoilers at the start. The way it starts is this kind of astronomer, I believe, maybe an astrophysicist or something like that. He predicts kind of teleportation capabilities of black holes, and he suggests that a planet is going to come into the solar system or something. Anyway, this planet does come, and everyone's like freaking out, and they're like, wow, you predicted this, that's so cool. You have the naming rights. What are you going to call it? He calls it Remina, named after his daughter. And so because of this, his daughter gains a ton of popularity super fast. She gets like fan clubs. She becomes an idol. And but then it turns out this planet is a planet eater. So it's like devouring all the other planets in the solar system. And from there, the story gets absolutely bonkers. Like, that's one thing that I kind of liked, but also felt like sometimes took away from the story. Is like right when I thought it was like, okay, this is insane, it would just get even crazier. Like, this story is unhinged. So yeah, kind of, you can kind of tell what's going to happen in the story, which kind of adds, I like that they don't beat it down too much, but you can kind of tell that, you know, once everyone finds out that this planet is horrible, everyone's going to get mad at Remina because everyone knows about her now because of her popularity as an idol. And there are just a lot of like creepy things, like it's funny because there's like different layers of horror because of the characters involved outside of the situation. Like, it's not just, you know, a group of kids who are really normal and relatable. You know, it's this girl who's kind of an idol, and so the interplay between her manager and a couple of her fans who are with her, her stans, who decide to help her out. There's kind of like that layer of horror, so you kind of get, you know, the spooky horror of stans. Kind of makes me think of Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue, some of the stuff there. You know, kind of feeling like you have ownership of a person, being obsessed with a person, or loving them without actually really knowing them. Having expectations for them, even though technically their transaction was the product they created, so like their music or whatever, but like expecting something more. So yeah, I like that. There's like these layers of horror that are happening aside from, you know, the cosmic horror of this giant planet showing up and interacting with everyone, and, you know, the psychotic riots and the mob. There's just so much going on in this book. So yeah, as we get a little bit further now, I suppose, if you want to avoid any spoilers, it's a pretty old story, but yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, I do recommend this one, so maybe read it before you finish the video. But yeah, so this one was part of just the absolutely insane parts. So the planet licks the Earth before it eats it. And because of that, it forces the Earth to spin super fast, which creates insane wind and also lets up on the gravity. And so our main characters are like flying, but the mob is also flying, so they like literally orbit the Earth in a chase scene. Also, while this is going on, some of the rich people on the planet try to escape the Earth, which now is even more unsettling, hearing a lot of these, like, you know, we've got this kind of like second space race happening right now. You got Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and all these other people who just, I don't know, they seem they seem kind of like super villains. And we're now with the internet and everything, how these people are like sort of reachable. They're also becoming sort of self-aware about being supervillains, and they're willing to just, you know, straight up say to the public, hey, I think at some point living on the Earth will be a, what do you say, like a privilege for a select few that can afford it as a resort, and everyone else will basically be working in like internment camps, not internment camps, but indentured servants. They'll be working like indentured servants on other, you know, planets and space stations and stuff. So yeah, that was a little bit spooky to me when I was like, oh geez, like that feels more close than it should at this point. It's also kind of funny how crazy and like psychotic all the horror and like the things that happen are, and then just like seeing interviews with Junji Ito and how he seems like just kind of a sweet, silly guy, and he like really likes cats a lot, but he seems like pretty quiet and stuff. And again, the ending, like they kind of get away. And no one seems like an immediate threat inside the capsule that they're in. But like the Earth is gone and they're just floating. And the main character, like I am not a huge fan of the main character, but also like I get it, she's kind of young, and like she's young, she's basically a child. So kind of that could interplay with, you know, the youthful celebrity horror, but yeah, she's really passive as a character, but I guess she is going through a whole ton. But you know, her remarks at the end, she just like misses the manager and her dad, but that does make sense though. Those are the people who she was connected to in life, and now she's just with a small group of strangers floating through space. So yeah, definitely an unsatisfying end, but satisfying for horror. I'd say this is a good one. The story gets a little bit wacky for me. So I don't think I would say this one is absolutely perfect, but I do really like it. I'd probably give this one an A rank. But yeah, Junji Ito's Remina, a completely crazy story with a lot of spooky things, a lot of layers of horror, but also just a lot of silly things. So, you know, maybe if you're trying to get into horror comics or graphic novels or manga in general, and you don't want something that's too heavy or disturbing, I mean, this one's, you know, not a joy ride, but it is one wild kind of crazy fun ride. So maybe give this one a go if that sounds something you'd be into. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you're interested, please subscribe, like, and also check out the links in the description. I should have my Patreon there. Supporting me on Patreon is a great way to make sure I can keep supporting artists and doing the things that I do, and it really means a lot to me. There's some benefits there, like getting your name in the credits, or also choosing what video is uploaded next. Also, check the links in my description for affiliate links or my other social media. There's a lot of ways to support. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Take care.